the other engine is called optimizer. It takes into consideration capacity and cost. So it takes production cost, transport cost, inventory cost, all costs in fulfilling the customer. It takes into consideration and tries to see if it is viable for the company, whether this is profitable or not. So cost constraints, which is profitable, then only those customers or those transports are given priority. And CTM is nothing but, let's say I have five customers and one of the customers is the top customer. I have to prioritize the customer first. So I will prioritize that demand first, so that that demand is first fulfilled. So whatever the stock or like
So
capacity I
sorry,
have,
can
yeah,
you? I didn't understand CTM once again, please.
it is called capable to match. Okay, so let's say we have customers. I have three customers and they have demand of, and the three customers are having a demand of 100 each. Okay, now I have to plan in such a way like my customer one is like a priority customer, so at any cost he has to be fulfilled first. And how to make sure the system will first fulfill customer one, then if remaining cap stock or like production capacity I have, I will fulfill them.
Ah, okay, okay.
So prioritization of customer, prioritization of orders, prioritization of like either the sales order has to given more priority or the forecast has to be given more priority.
Hmm.
So like
Okay,
that priority, you prioritize the demand and fulfill the demand accordingly.
okay.
So these are the like advanced functionalities that PPO was not able to support, and that's why they created a separate module for SAP APO. And all these things will give a proposal that is a planned order or a purchase requisition that the execution user has to approve it. There can be automatic approval or manual approval that needs to be done by the user department. And okay, so this is about PP and MM. I will come about demand planning. So this is another module that was there in APO. What it does is it simply takes the history data of sales, and there are several engines, algorithms, average, moving average, first order, second order. If there is a trend, if there is a seasonality, if there is sporadic demand, what, how to predict my future. So if my forecast is very good, I will plan well in advance how my production and purchase request for raw materials or subcontracting, all these things well in advance I will be prepared.
Hmm.
If my forecast is bad, I have to increase my safety stock, I have to increase my inventory just not to lose a customer. I have to do all these things. So statistical forecast algorithm helps if it is much accurate. And then your production planning like well in advance for the next month or next few weeks, most probably for raw materials where there are export raw materials where the lead time is like months, like you are waiting for certain specific parts to finish the order like production. And for that planning, either you have to buy it well in advance, that might like incur more cost to the company. So this statistical forecast helps to well in advance predict what is your future requirement, so that for that you are very much prepared. Maybe like 80% if you are accurate, then only for the 20% you have to manage, instead of like for the whole 100% you don't know like how much quantity. But hopefully person might know like what is your vendors ability to provide the raw materials at the right time. All these calculation can be done, but still like with growing complexity and with a huge number of products, manually updating each thing and maintaining all these things is very tedious. So your demand planning plays a very good role in avoiding like much of manual work. So this demand planning is nothing but you take the sales history data, last 2 years data, and try to predict the forecast of next 2 years or 6 months according to the business need. So simple demand planning.
Hmm.
But based on this, you can plan the inventory. If your forecast accuracy is very good, your inventory will be very less. That means optimized, so that you are not losing out on the customers.
Now we make this manually through Excel. So I export the quantities and the data from SAP, and then we make this in Excel manually.
Okay, so I am just trying to tell you like how APO system was there, so that when we jump into IBP, you would be able to know, okay, this was there in APO, this functionality, and now we are going to adapt that in IBP. So APO is something like on premise, similar to our ECC systems, PPM, MSD. In S4 it can be either on premise or cloud solution, but here in IBP we are cloud solutions,
Mhm.
and we are not on premise. And what are the things there in IBP? And there are much more modules there in APO. GADP is something like a global available to promise. Like this is advanced SD, where when you are placing a sales order, only if there is a possibility that some of the receipt elements like production order is ready by next week, so you can create a sales order for next week. Else the system will not allow, whether you have alternate products or alternate locations where the product is available. Only then it allows, the system allows you to create a sales order. So it's kind of available to promise. So it is customized in a way like you are promising the customer on this date this quantity can be delivered.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
PPD is something like you are doing minute level planning, like in work schedule, like which operation has to be run on which time, and if there is any shutdown or shift cancellation or excess of shift, how to manage each production order, each operation level details can be planned. So
Uh,
PPDS is nothing.
PPDS is exactly per minute, for example, or is it? Can we make this per day?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
It's okay. It's
No,
okay.
it's kind of minute level planning you can do. Like you do demand planning for like year, month wise. Like for next month, how much is my demand?
Ah,
Supply
okay.
network is done in week level. So you can do like for next 2 weeks, what are my demands, so that I need to create a planned order or purchase requisition. And GADP is also like kind of monthly or weekly. So PPDS is something like you can plan minute level. Like that means for next 1 hour, this operation needs to be run. Let's say there is a assembling of a car unit, and in sequence there are 20 steps, and you can schedule like first step has to start at 9 a.m. Second step has to start at 10 a.m. That level planning we can do in PPDS. Even though you have a production order confirmed, but inside the production order you have a lot of operations and activities to be done, that you can schedule it automatically. It prioritizes based on lot of, there are a lot of orders. So it will prioritize like which orders, which material needs to be there, and when the raw material needs to be consumed, all these things is taken care in PPDS. So it's kind of a detailed scheduling, like you are scheduling the operations and activities in production plan. So sorry that I just wanted to explain like APO, because the same concept we are going to do it in IBP. So using APO is something similar to ECC. You have to log into the system. You need to have a server access, similar to IBP also, but you can access it from web base and Excel sheet. And supply planning and demand planning are part of IBP, and this GATP and PPDS went into S4HANA. So if you are working in S4HANA, GATP and PPDS functionality will be there in S4HANA,
Okay.
and your supply planning and demand planning comes to IBP. So IBP is nothing but integrated business planning. When they started with sales and operation planning. So this is a very high level planning, and they wanted to incorporate all divisions like sales, supply, manufacturing, marketing, procurement team. Everyone should be part of sales and operation planning. This is kind of like strategic planning and kind of tactical planning. So it's somewhere there. And have you heard any sales and operation planning done in any of the businesses?
Yes. Yes.
So initially, IBP started not as a alternative to APO. It started as a sales and operation planning because it wanted to provide a unified space where everyone can be as planning. So all the teams are visible, and they wanted to make sure everyone is like highlighted. So the changes that are done in sales, the production people has to know the difficulties that they face in production. The sales team and marketing team needs to do no. So they wanted to make all departments in sync. So that's how it started. So and then gradually they incorporated all the functionalities of APO, like supply network planning, demand planning, inventory planning, and all other plannings. They slowly started, and now I think it's about to be mature. Okay, so there are different modules in IBP also. You can call it as sales and operation planning, you can call as demand planning, and you can call as
Inventory planning.
and you have DDMRP, so it is similar to safety stock calculation, similar to inventory planning, another module. And you have response and supply.